What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Canadians answering Canadian trivia. I don't know if you've ever seen stuff where Americans try to answer American trivia, but it is painful how bad we are at it. So today, I thought it'd be fun to turn the tables, to flip the script, and see how well Canadians do when asked about Canadian trivia. So with that being said, let's take a look.
10 contestants, 5 questions each. Let's see how they do.
Okay.
So your first question, Tennille, is, hockey is the official winter sport of Canada. What is our official summer sport?
I know this one. I'm in trivia mode. I'm very serious. I know this one. I don't know where I learned this one, and it was very surprising to me. Most Americans don't know this one, I'm very pleased to say. But the summer sport of Canada is lacrosse. Growing up here in the United States, I never, associated Canada with lacrosse. Is there a big lacrosse scene going on in Canada? Because I had never heard about that for the longest time. And I assume Canadians know this. What is the official sport of America? Like baseball? We don't even have an official winter sport, come to think of it. Anyway, let's see if the Canadians get this right. I know this is lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Nice.
Lacrosse.
Wow.
Lacrosse?
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Okay.
Lacrosse.
I think it's lacrosse.
I guess kayaking.
Okay. Somebody had to get it wrong, right? Holy cow. All of the Canadians knew this answer. That kind of answers the question for me of how well is this known throughout Canada that the summer sport is lacrosse and that hockey is the winter sport, not the national sport, but the winter sport. Even though between you and me, everyone thinks of hockey when we think of Canada, but lacrosse, or she thought kayaking.
Second question, we're going to keep with sports. Are you a sports fan?
I'm a phys ed teacher.
Okay.
Okay.
If you don't get this next one, Tennille, this will be very embarrassing in school for you. Here's your question. Speaking of sports, Canadian James Naismith invented what sport?
James Naismith. Ooh. This name doesn't really ring a bell to me. How well do I know my Canadian history? Not enough to know what sport James Naismith invented. This is a Canadian? What sport did Canadians invent? Did Canadians invent hockey? I actually don't think that they did. I feel like I would know that if Canadians invented hockey. They invented hockey in our hearts, I think. I have no idea. What sport was invented by Canadian James Naismith? Do Canadians know the answer to this? I don't really know what sports Americans invented when I think about this, in a way I can relate to. So I don't feel bad that I don't know this, but I don't even know what sports Americans invented. But this isn't about me or America today. This is to see if the Canadians know the answer.
Basketball.
Very good, and you...
Basketball. Yes, basketball. There's a Heritage Minute on this. Oh, man. There's a Heritage Minute, a Canadian Heritage Minute. I react to those as well. I saw the one about basketball. I didn't remember the name. Canada did invent basketball. That's so random, but very cool. Okay. She knows. Do other Canadians know?
You keep your job.
Basketball.
Congratulations.
Basketball.
Basketball.
Hockey.
Okay.
Nope.
That's what I was about to default to. Canada sports. Hockey!
Invented basketball.
Oh, I knew that too.
Oh.
Kidding, I did.
You've heard of basketball?
I'm impressed at the Canadians here so far. Most of them have known both of these answers. Do the rest of the Canadians know about basketball?
Keeping with inventions, Canadians Dr. Frederick Banting and Charles Best were responsible for what medical breakthrough in 1921?
Frederick Banting and Charles Best. Medical breakthrough? Well, something does come to mind. Speaking of heritage minutes, the medical breakthrough on there was insulin. Discovery of insulin, and it was by two people, I'm pretty sure, Canadians. Could that be what this is? I don't know if it was 1921. I know insulin was invented or discovered in Canada. I'm gonna go with insulin.
Oh,
You are a teacher.
I know. I'm a science teacher too.
Oh, no!
I want to say like antibiotics or no. I don't know.
You should not have fessed up to being a science and phys ed teacher.
Insulin.
Oh,
yeah.
yes!
Is it insulin?
Yes, oh, that's the answer. Okay, holy cow. I'm actually very pleased with myself. Wait a minute. Who cares about if you know basketball? Who invented basketball? Basketball doesn't save lives. Insulin. At least I got that one right. Okay, that's a little redemption for me. But I'd still be impressed if these Canadians knew about this one, because I don't know. I'm kind of comparing this to how Americans do with American trivia. We're terrible. And so far, the Canadians are pretty good. Like, probably above what I thought the average person would know.
It is insulin.
Insulin.
I believe that was insulin.
Yeah, wow.
Discovering some sort of cancer?
Wait a minute, discovering cancer?
No, I mean like
Canadians are responsible for cancer. Wait, a cure for cancer?
No, okay.
I
you know what?
wish,
don't
my
know.
friend.
I don't know.
Insulin. Insulin is what we were looking for.
Right.
Canada's national motto, this one's harder, is Amare usque ad mare. How's your Latin?
Canada's national motto? What is Canada's national motto? What? And it's in Latin? Amare usque ad mar? Is Latin? Let all let all be like the maple leaf. I'm desperately trying to think of something that has to do with like Canada's national symbol, maple leaf. I don't know. Canada's national motto? There's a national motto? Okay, I don't know.
Not good.
Are you a Latin teacher?
No, I'm not.
And you're clear for this one. Don't worry about it, okay? But it's Latin. What does it mean in English? What is Canada's national motto?
Strong.
Strong? Oh, I got a little hint. Strong? Strong? Do most Canadians know this? Do Canadians out there know this motto? Is this just me, the American, who's never heard of this?
Strong and free.
We
Oh.
are indeed strong and free. That's a great guess, but it's actually from sea to sea.
From sea to sea. From sea to sea. Amari usque ad mar. From sea to sea. That's cool. Is that because, like, from Canada's, like, coast to coast, east to west coast, sea to sea? That's Canada. From sea to sea. Literally. Okay. That's cool. I didn't know Canada had a motto. Very cool.
From cities to.
No, it's from sea to sea.
Oh, that's what it means?
That's what it means.
My home is your home?
Oh,
Not.
that's a nice sentiment. That's a nice sentiment. That's what it should be. My home is your home. Very Canadian of her.
How do we trust that?
What is it again?
Amare usque ad mare. Do you actually know Latin?
No, but
Why did you ask me to repeat it then?
Love all free animals with teeth.
Love all free animals. It should be changed to that for the
Yeah.
record, but it is actually the very boring
Yeah.
now.
From sea to sea.
Oh!
Nice. This was a more difficult one from my point of view. I would actually, most of the Canadians got this question wrong. But several of them got the basketball question correctly and the science question correct. But I would expect more Canadians to know this, the Canadian motto. So it's funny which questions the Canadians actually are getting correct.
Oh!
from sea to sea.
Ah,
From sea to sea. Final
Nice.
question. This you may very well have in your purse right now. All right, here's your question. What animal is traditionally featured on the Canadian quarter?
oh God, the Canadian quarter. I don't. Man, I haven't seen much Canadian currency. The Canadian quarter. I couldn't even tell you who's on the Canadian, like $1, $5, $20. I don't know. But this is an animal on the quarter. $1 coin is a loon because of the loony. That's the only one I know because of the name. $2 a toonie. That doesn't tell you what's on it. Quarter. Maybe it's a beaver. Canadian animal. National animal of Canada. Maybe it's a beaver.
A beaver.
On the Canadian quarter.
I was so hyped for a second there when she said beaver. It's not a beaver. Moose? Is that how's that for diving into my interior Canadian repertoire? What Canadian animal is on it? Moose.
Almost got there. It's a caribou, which can actually be called...
Guess is gonna be an elk. I don't know.
Caribou?
Is it biology that you also teach?
Caribou?
Jeez. I actually don't know.
No one uses...
That's okay. You know, this is one of those funny kinds of questions where it's like, yeah, you see a quarter, you handle quarters all the time, you see them all the time, but you never really stop and appreciate the caribou on the quarter. So I'm actually like not that surprised that Canadians don't know what's on the quarter. This isn't like oh, how silly, you don't even know what's on your own quarter. I actually think, because I don't, like, who's even on the American quarter? Some president. George Washington, maybe. Okay.
Uses coins.
A moose.
The moose!
Well,
they're guessing the moose as well. It was a good guess. I feel vindicated now.
I think it's an elk.
Not an elk.
Oh, the quarter? No, it's
Definitely not the right answer. That guy right there, what is that?
it's a moose.
This isn't even fair. What does a Canadian quarter look like? Hold up. I'm gonna look this up. Okay, this is what you get when you look up a Canadian quarter, and then look at this thing. That's why this person said a moose. At first glance, this looks like a moose or like an elk, or how am I supposed to know this is a caribou? Who even knows what a caribou is? Okay, it's like a moose elk deer hybrid or something. That's the Canadian quarter. Okay, very interesting. It does look like a moose. I totally get what she's saying now.
What animal is that?
It's a moose.
They're all looking at the quarter and they're like, "Yeah, that's a moose." Like the picture looks like a moose. That's funny.
Okay, thought we made that one easy, Lenny.
Caribou.
Caribou is
Wow.
absolutely correct. Well,
Wow. And then randomly, there's always just somebody who knows the answer to like these obscure questions. Impressive.
congratulations, Canada. You did fantastic on the first two questions. 9 out of 10
Right.
people knew that lacrosse is the official summer sport of Canada.
Right. They did start really, really strong. I was like, holy cow. I knew Canadians were gonna do better than Americans do with American trivia. I still think by the end of this, the Canadians did do better, a lot better with the Canadian trivia than Americans do with American trivia. But they started off so strong and then kind of tailed off. The questions got harder though.
8 out of 10 people knew that Canadian James Naismith invented basketball.
That's
From
impressive.
there,
That was impressive, knowing the basketball.
the discovery of insulin is what Dr. Frederick Banting and Charles Best did in 1921. 7 out of 10 people knew that.
7 out of 10 knew that. Wait, no, they still did. They still did good. They're still doing really good. I actually got this one correct. I'm just saying, I got one correct.
And then we collectively fell off a cliff, with only 2 people knowing that amare usque ad mare is from sea to sea.
I mean, I'm sure there's an American motto or some American Latin phrase or something that I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I don't know. So I kind of sympathize with the Canadians failing on this one.
To sea, and that is the Canadian motto. And finally, the Canadian quarter features a caribou.
Caribou.
Not a moose, not an...
I am amazed that even 2 people got this right. Because even if you look at the quarter and you make a conscious, concerted effort to look at it and be like, That's what's on our quarter. It looks like a freaking moose. If you actually look at it and you're like, oh yes, the caribou, it's like, what are you, some kind of environmental scientist? How are you identifying that based on that picture? How did they do that? That's amazing.
An elk, a caribou. So what we can draw from this is that change and coins is about as relevant to current society as the language of Latin.
All right, and there we have it. That was a very fun little quiz. I actually thought that was a good selection of questions to get like the average Canadian knowledge out of the average Canadian. I think, this is just a short little example we did here, but I still stand by it. I think Canadians did pretty good on this quiz, these random 10 people. And these questions ranged from like sort of hard to very hard. And they did pretty darn good. So I stand by my prediction that Canadians would do better on Canadian trivia than Americans do on American trivia. I think it holds true. And I don't know. How did the American do with the Canadian trivia? Okay, kind of. Okay, I only got like one right. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about how many I got right on second thought. And with that, I enjoyed this very much. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of this trivia or these questions. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.